What's up, YouTube? We're back.
Okay, so
First thing I wanted to go over today was these guys were asking me the difference between Gnostic and agnostic and all that kind of stuff. So, atheist just answers one question: whether you believe in a deity or not. Gnosticism and agnosticism deals with belief, whether you believe there is a God or not. So, does that make sense?
yeah. Earlier this week I had texted Daniel. You were saying that you were a secular humanist?
Oh, a secular humanist. So there's a couple different secular humanist manifestos. Pretty much, secular humanists just want what's best for humanity, pretty much. So anything that can make the human species thrive is pretty much like what we're after. Like all being gay, being all that stuff, we really don't have an issue with all that stuff. There's a good secular humanist manifesto on the American Atheist website, so you guys can read on that. Today I wanted to talk about religious cults like Dave Koresh, Jim Jones. What do you guys think about those?
Tell us the background of James Jones.
Jim Jones, he started his following in California, and then moved to I can't remember, some jungle town, and took his congregation over there, and had congressmen go down and try to get some of the people out that wanted to be out, and he only got a couple people out when he went.
So Jim Jones was like trying to get people out of the cult?
No, Jim Jones was the leader of the cult.
So who was trying to get people out?
The government official. I can't remember the name. And they left, and then after they left, Jim Jones gave an order for everybody to commit a mass suicide, and they put cyanide in all the internet stuff says fruit flavored drink, but it was Kool-Aid. They put cyanide in the Kool-Aid and had everybody drink the Kool-Aid, and with the cyanide, they told the kids. Well, they didn't really tell the kids anything, but with cyanide, you can feel it in your body. Like, you can feel the pain and everything. So, I don't know, just being that they gave it to the kids.
That were in the cult?
Yeah. That
The ones that died were underage.
yeah, they were all under 18.
And his beliefs were...
He started as a church, but he got really bad into drugs and stuff, so at the end, I don't really
think it was about religion.
Yeah, it was just more about him being in power, but his following didn't know that. Like they thought he was the like not a messiah, but like a prophet.
Yeah.
They thought he was a prophet, and there's like video on YouTube saying like his congregation saying that they didn't have like enough food when they were in California and stuff, and him going back into the kitchen and coming back and there being enough food. So, I mean, there's more evidence for him being a prophet than Yahweh being God. I mean, that's documented. That's people on YouTube saying that.
There might be more evidence, but his thing did not end good whatsoever. That man killed kids for just about no reason.
Glory.
Okay, but God killed kids. He did mass genocide.
I mean, I guess, but even if that happened, what makes this guy's okay? It's not okay.
No, that's why I want to talk about it. I don't think any of it's okay. And it started with religion.
I mean, you can turn that into whatever you want. If the Bible says to do good, it doesn't say to kill children or a mass group of people following you.
It actually does. God actually condones it.
He doesn't say to go out and kill.
Killing is one of the biggest sins.
He doesn't say go out and kill to follow me.
He does.
It just says animals. Go
No.
and stuff. Or does it say to go out and kill? He told somebody to go kill his son just to see how much faith he had in him, but he stopped it. He's not going to telling everybody to go out and kill him.
What is it? Yes, he says to go kill men, women, children, animals, everything. And,
Gomorrah?
no, not Gomorrah. Samuel said to Saul, "The Lord sent me to anoint you the king over his people Israel. Now therefore listen to the words that the Lord, thus saith the Lord of hosts, I have noted what Amalek did to Israel and opposing them in the way when they came up out of Egypt. Now go and strike Amalek and devote the destruction all that they have. Do not spare them, but kill both man and women, children and infant, ox and sheep, camel and donkey."
Those are people that were. Those are people.
Okay,
that,
so tell me exactly what the infants did.
they're part of the. In the Old Testament, it goes as that since their parents were evil. Think of it like whenever a Nazi has a baby, they go and they churn. The infant might be innocent, but as he gets older, he's going to go and follow.
Okay,
his parents.
you don't think that so they went to kill Amalek, right? All of them. So the other soldiers, you don't think they could have got the kids and God said raise them like I want you guys raised, and could have raised the kids to not do any of that stuff?
He could have, but that was the Old Testament.
And that makes it right?
It was a horrible time. It's not denied in anywhere in the Bible that the Old Testament wasn't a good time.
Yeah, I've been saying that the whole time.
It doesn't even, it says that you could ask any pastor.
So how does that make it right?
The way we used to live back then, does that make it right how we were?
No, we changed.
We have?
Yeah.
There's still wars going on. There's still people killing. We've changed.
Yeah, as a society, we've changed.
We might have changed
As a society, we've
as
changed,
money.
but there's still bad people out there. Like, we're still fighting bad wars. When was Nazi Germany? In the 40s?
After
in,
Jesus died.
in
Yeah.
in a general aspect, that's not that long ago. And like, we still learning things from the 40s. We still do things that we did in the 40s. That's really, as a general thing, that's not a long time.
Yeah, and if God said He didn't want the killing, then why is there all this killing?
He gave us our own free will, like we've been saying. If you wanted to go hurt somebody outside, you could. Nobody's gonna stop you.
But in your heart, you should know that it's not. That's what God wants you to know, to feel it, that you know it's bad.
So Him saying that that you can go and kill all these kids. That's why I was saying last week that some things aren't worth paradise. So that God saying it's okay to kill those kids. That's why I'm saying
So
I wouldn't worship that God.
So say he did it, and that guy was bad. That whole community was tarnished because they had a horrible leader, right?
Okay.
And it just kept starting to grow. It kept growing. We wouldn't be in the society we're today if that kept growing. So starting over and doing good for the civilization.
But God knows everything. He knew it was going to happen that way.
Maybe that's why he had them killed off, because he knew that they were bad. He knew that
Then it couldn't have been bad if he planned it and he knew it, and he is perfect. It couldn't be bad.
Giving us our own free will, that's what tarnished us. That's what messed us up. Because we ate apple. He told us not to eat the apple, so we wouldn't know evil.
But it was His plan.
His plan was for us not to eat the apple. And of course,
Okay, but if you write out the script and the script happens exactly how you wrote it, how is it anybody else's fault but the writers?
Oh, I don't know how to explain it to you. You don't have the same beliefs as me. You think God's evil and God's bad when He's not. He gave us love. He's there with us when we're in pain. He's there with us when we need someone to talk to.
You guys are here when I need somebody to talk to.
You guys aren't always there when I need someone to talk to.
But I'm physical. I'm here.
He listens, and he might not happen right away, but he will bless me with whatever my heart desires.
So that was another point that I wanted to talk about. So if you pray for something, and it's not in God's plan, will it come true?
He will bless you. He doesn't. It's not like making a wish. It's not.
Well,
like I wish for this and it's going to happen.
Well, I understand that, but He says that if, two or more people wish or pray to Him, that it will come true.
No, it says if two or more. What is it? Two or more. It's like two or more. He's present. It's not that it will come true. It's He's present with you.
Okay, but that still goes back to my question. So say somebody's family member is sick and dying of cancer, and it's in God's plan for that person to die, and you pray, the family prays for that person to get better. If it's in His plan, praying is not going to make a difference.
No, for me to understand.
Okay, so let's switch that. So if that's still in his plan, and you pray, and
It does happen.
it does happen, are you changing what God wanted?
No, I don't think it would happen.
If
Okay, I don't either. So
they had cancer.
what's the point of praying?
There's a lot of points talking with God.
I see praying as a therapy to just let out feelings. That I can see, but talking to a being that doesn't exist, I don't see that.
I see it because I believe he exists. And just whenever, if you don't get what you want, get what you need.
So then why pray? If it ain't gonna make a difference anyways.
Well, if you don't have it, if you need it.
But if he's already gonna give you what you need, there's no point on praying.
To have a connection, so if he does bless you. If you don't have a connection, if you don't have a connection, he's not going to give you nothing.
You have to give yourself something. You can't just, whenever you meet him, you talk to him,
You call him, you build a relationship
Yeah.
with him.
even if you did that to a person, you call that selfish, right? Whenever you need something, you call him.
Yeah.
So you can't do that. That's wrong.
I don't think you guys are understanding what I'm saying.
No, I get that if he knows you need it, he's gonna give it to you. So why pray if he's already gonna give it to you? That doesn't mean that you can't have a relationship with him and you yourself talking to him rather than him just watching him.
Okay, but I mean that still doesn't answer any of my questions.
So say mom knows you need money, and you don't talk to her, but you decide to talk to her. It's just builds a relationship that makes you both happy. God wants a relationship.
Okay, but she talks back, right?
Mm, You might not have a connection like that, but we believe he talks back. Maybe not in a physical.
Okay, how do you
language.
know he talks back?
How do you know he doesn't?
Because all the evil that shouldn't be in the world is here. It's called the youth.
That's called.
Was it the Euthyphro dilemma?
That's.
No, that's
sayings on
that's
the
not-
earth. Because the evil has nothing. It has. It's all saying trying to.
I wanted to ask you
piss
this.
us off.
I wanted to ask you this a couple shows ago, but we got a topic. So, you know how there's an action that follows a reaction? How did the people know that if there's a good, there's always going to be an evil? How did the people back then know that?
I don't know if they did. What do you mean?
Because in the Bible, there's a representation of good and there's a representation of evil.
Mhm.
How did they know what was wrong if they didn't have laws and just things to guide them toward good and wrong?
Well, that goes back to what we were talking about when I was talking about morals. Even if it was the most selfish thing that could be, if I don't want to be hurt, or if I don't want to feel pain, why would I go and do that to somebody else?
But you're not necessarily born with that. It's molded. The things around you have molded you to do it.
How do you know that?
Because and when we were little, they're like monkey see, monkey do, or what do they call it? How to treat your others how you want to be treated. It was like pounded into our head when we were little. In school, mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, do good so good things happen. Right?
Okay.
And the things that you grew
And
up
you can
with-
do all the good you want, and there's still going to be bad things that happen.
Yeah. how it's in the Newton law, there's always equal opposite reaction. Good, evil, yin, yang. It's in every religion. How did they know that? Something brought it to them, or something was put into their head to know that.
I think it's more something we evolved with over time.
But
if you
does consciousness evolve?
well, if you look at some groups of monkeys, if that monkey steals from anyone in that grouping, they'll kick them out.
I never read that statement. But see that
Animals have a better relationship with their maker than we do.
I don't really follow either one of you because I don't get that.
What do you mean? You don't get?
Well, like monkeys are semi-social animals.
Okay. There's a video on YouTube of a dog getting hit by a car, and another dog goes and tries to pull that dog out of the street.
I seen that. But that is different because dogs are pack animals. They have a family.
Okay, there was another one with a fish that was out of water,
And the dog was throwing water.
Yeah.
Well, what about the dog that goes in there and eats the fish?
Okay.
But it's not like
That's not part of that point that we were making.
Well, I mean,
You were saying it doesn't happen. I'm saying even one demonstration of it happening.
but that goes again that the dog is a pack animal. If you raise a dog with a cat,
But
they're
it's-
gonna think that they're attacked. I mean, yeah, the dog probably wasn't raised with a fish, but it still has the nurturing sense of a leader dog.
Okay.
So that situation was just different. I don't know.
I'm saying we all evolved to that. I mean, even those two situations show that the evolution of understanding and compassion is how we evolved that.
Yeah, and compassion and understanding that evolved because it kept the
The species alive.
Yes, it kept it going. There was a movie I was watching. It used a good representation. That's why I wanted to use it. How they would, when the babies were born, they would leave it on the shore, and alligator would get it, and they wouldn't think anything of it because they weren't attached. But we progressed to be like, I don't want that to happen. That's sad. So we don't leave our babies on the shore for something to get. Well, that isn't necessarily our consciousness growing. That's our species trying to continue to thrive.
Mhm.
But what makes our species continue to thrive? What changes the mentality from not knowing that that's your baby and the species will die with it dying, or from you loving it and you don't want that to happen? What changes between those two? And that's something that we don't know. So that's where you have to think that there is something, because everything happens for a reason, but nothing just changes like that. I believe something was put into us so that doesn't.
And I just think we evolved it. I mean, there's more evidence showing that we did evolve it than just magically something better.
But see, that's where I don't think you understand that what I believe. I don't think anything just magically happens. I think he puts something in our path for us to continue to grow. Nothing just magically.
Well, I don't think anything magically happens either. I mean, I think from the beginning of evolution to now, I mean, we're still evolving.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what I'm saying. It's evolution.
I don't see our consciousness evolving. I see the things around us evolving and changing, which are making us think different.
And that thinking different is evolving.
Not in like that kind of sense. Like if you want to say it like that, then like when you move a house, are you evolving? No, you just look at you have a different environment.
Okay, but evolution. What we're talking about evolution and a building expanding is not the same thing as the kind of evolution
Well, I know,
that we're talking about.
I know it was just an example, but I lost my
Cults stuff. Even with the David Koresh one, that was completely religious based. Like he thought he was God. And like I don't know a lot about his background, but that Waco wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for religion.
Well, that's how it started. This is before he
he like when he first went to Waco, he was just another congregation member, but he like fell in love or something with the owner of the building and the church, and I want to say he married her, and then her son was supposed to take over the church, but she gave it to him and like kicked the son out and stuff. And then when she died, he took over everything, and he used the church to sell guns, ammunition, grenades, and that's how the ATF first like got on the ATF's radar. Was a crate fell over in the post office or something, and I think it was grenades or high-powered ammunition. And then they sent an ATF agent to go undercover, and one of the people in the post office, I think, was part of his congregation, and he told Koresh, like gave him the heads up, and the ATF agent realized that he knew what was going on, so he tried to stop everything before it happened, but everything was already in motion. So there's this controversy of who shot first, whether it was David Koresh's congregation or ATF, but it went on for a month and a half, I believe.
Well, how does the religion come into place? Because that's just a business.
Oh, because he thought he was God. Like he would have like his congregation. Like towards the end, he was the only one that was sleeping with any female, because he said God said it was for him to populate that congregation. So he ended up having like 20-something kids with a bunch of different people, and a couple of them were underage, but he believed he was God.
I wanted to, cause I just thought of this as you're talking, because this goes with persuasion. People get persuaded. So have you listened to Marilyn Manson's story?
Kind of.
Well, he had studied psychology, so he knew how to get people to do what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So he had all these followers. He did nothing to make them do anything. he felt that he was like better than them and that they should do what he wanted. Well, that sounds like what he wanted and what he would do, what he did. Of course, it had to start with that, but it could have started with anything else. But he saw that while the people followed him, and the people in the Bible said that they saw it in a dream, or that Jesus spoke to him, and that that's what it says in there.
Mm-hmm.
So he figured, well, why can't God tell me to do something and me use it to get what I want?
Exactly.
But we don't know of Jesus, but from what we know, that guy was just evil, and that.
Okay, so if today, if you say God spoke to you,
You would think I was crazy, right?
okay, and back then,
People believe it.
okay,
I believe that it is changing from what it was back then to what it is.
okay, so I don't want to sound overly rude, but even if it was just a scheme, we know it's easy for religious cults to persuade people that want to follow. And religion makes it easy for that to happen.
I see that. I don't disagree with
So if it wasn't for religion, I don't see that happen.
you. You can't take the one bad, or not one bad instance, the bad instances that there are, because some people are bad people, and we know that. And when they get into power, it's just a bad thing with bad in power.
You put that with the religion, but what about all the good that religion has done?
I'm not saying religion doesn't do good.
If it
But-
wasn't for religion,
Okay, but take away
those
all.
children's cancer, we wouldn't have funding. If it wasn't for religion, we wouldn't even be known about. If it wasn't for religion, that's all religion based.
No.
That's the biggest cancer for children, and that's religion based.
So, take away all the religion. There's no religion. What would stop all of that progress from happening?
What would stop them from killing?
Okay, but you're saying it does good. I understand it. They do good. But what if you take away the religion? Would all that good stop?
I don't know where this has been backed up for so long, but their murdering wouldn't stop.
Okay, so let me put it a different way. What good that religion does that secular humanists or atheists can't do?
Okay, so this goes kind of along with what you're saying. We were actually both in church today, and it was taught and brought to my attention that, and it really made sense to how what we were talking about last time, and kind of what we're talking about. It says that he who does good in a pure form of heart will meet God, and you're saying that that the atheists do good, and they do good because they want to do it, not to look good for anybody else. Right? In the Bible, it says if somebody does that, they will know me, and I thought that was really cool.
What I was saying was that Stalin was not. What I want to be is secular humanist values. That's what I want out there. Being atheist shouldn't have anything to do with that part of wanting society to thrive.
And
That's all I was trying to say.
And then there's always people that ruin what you believe in by doing bad with it. And that's with anything. And really everything.
To a certain extent, yes.
And you're still an atheist when
But there's never been a secular humanist that has done any of that bad stuff.
See, so
Since,
being this that I'm not even
yeah, because being an atheist, all that answers is I don't find enough evidence for a God. That has nothing to do with like any kind of political anything or any of that stuff. That just answers one question: whether or not I believe in God.
And then
And
being
a secular humanist,
it has its own definition of wanting the society to thrive.
yes.
So if you don't believe that you don't want this, you don't do things for the society to thrive, you're not that.
To a certain extent, yeah. I mean, there's a couple different secular humanist manifestos. That's why I was saying for everybody to go out and read that. There's different ones, but
Well, I guess
they're all pretty much
for
the
instance,
same.
So, say somebody uses that as an instance. Their intentions aren't that; they're just trying to. They have a different example.
Okay.
But they're still doing things for the society. But you don't necessarily know that there's not a bad person out there that believes in it. Because you can do things that are good but still have bad intentions, I guess.
Okay.
So, but that doesn't even, I guess that doesn't matter. I guess I would just think that there's good people and there's bad people. And if they choose to believe in God and do bad actions, I don't believe it's their beliefs that are making them do the bad actions. It's a whole other part of their self that's doing the bad things, and they just choose to believe in something like that. Or not.
Okay. Well, what about the only sin that you can't be saved for is me being an unbeliever. You can murder, you can do all, the child molesters, everything gets saved except for me. Just because I don't believe.
Who's to say when your time is up that it's over? What if after you die there's some time to understand that there is God and you then are saved? When is the last minute?
Okay,
for
but
that to happen?
say that's true. That's not in here.
Well, yeah, I was asking, when is the last minute for you to be saved?
I have no idea. I would think it's, well, the piece of meat is thinking. I mean, if that's the case, that's fine, but that's not in the book. So that's just speculation.
Well, yeah, I was just saying, when was the last minute for you to be saved? Well, you say that it's up until you're not breathing or conscious, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think that's what it says in the Bible.
well, what if at your last second, because you don't know that yet, that something speaks to you?
Okay, but that's not what it's saying.
Go ahead.
The only sin you can't be saved for is not believing. So Christians can do whatever they want, and eventually they'll be saved and go to heaven. But me,
They have to
Being-
they have to really be sorry for what they did. They have to believe it in their heart.
okay, they believe it in their heart.
I don't think a rapist is going to believe it in his heart that what he did was wrong.
Why not?
Because he wouldn't have done it if he believed in his heart that it was wrong.
Okay, and 10 years after that, maybe he has kids and thinks the complete opposite. I don't think that, but I'm saying that could be a case. So he would be saved. me being a law-abiding citizen, taking care of my kids, still I'm damned to hell.
I don't believe that. I believe if you were to believe in your heart and believe in your heart and confess with your mouth that Jesus is the Lord and Savior and He died on the cross for our sins, that you would be saved.
Okay, but I don't believe that. So I'm damned to hell for that. Just for not believing.
Maybe you should believe. That was just a joke.
I get that, but a loving God, knowing however many atheists, non-believers, even other religions in the world, would make us just to send us to hell.
You have a purpose. If you,
I give myself purpose.
and that's
Nobody
okay.
gives me my purpose but me.
And that's okay. But I mean, even if you completely disagree, I think that there's a purpose for you here.
And that,
And I don't believe that 100% of that was you. That what there's even in making a child, there's millions of different things that could have happened that wouldn't have made you. Here you are. That you were the one that made it, so you therefore had purpose before you had consciousness. You didn't choose to make it and be born. You got
yeah, I did.
So I mean,
I don't remember that long ago.
exactly. It was just it happens. That's. I think you had a purpose. I understood it.
Yeah, I give myself purpose.
What about before you could think? Did you give yourself purpose?
What do you mean before I can think?
I mean, before you had a mature brain,
Like when I was a kid?
yeah. Did you give yourself purpose back then?
I
You
had
were
purpose.
You were given purpose by a parent. You were sent to school. You were fed. You had purpose
Yeah.
by somebody else.
Yeah, my mom.
Yeah. So you didn't give yourself purpose back then.
Okay,
So
let's go with that.
okay, that's what I said.
Okay. That's different than humans having purpose. Like you're saying God, this is a chessboard and God's moving the pieces. I'm not saying that. I'm saying evolution is why we're here. So I give myself my own purpose. Like everybody asks, what's the meaning of life? I give myself meaning. My meaning of life is raising my kids, is being a good father, being a good brother, being a good son. That has nothing to do with any higher power.
That's a good meaning to live by. But
That's what we all live by.
no,
Just everybody says it's this book that
there's rules in that book that say to do those things, but that doesn't mean you have to do
that
them.
were like the Ten Commandments.
I mean, I was just using an example, but
I mean,
respect
there
thy
were
mother. And
most of the Ten Commandments, besides the vain ones that say worship me, were in. Oh, I always forget the name of that book, but they were other commandments before the Ten Commandments. They just copied them in this book.
and those are good things to live by, which you say you live by, just not because that says it.
Yeah, and they were here before God said they were here.
I don't even know what they're talking about. I got so confused. We're talking about one thing and it's skipped to something way different. I thought we were talking about how he says he's damned.
Okay, we can go back to that, I guess. I mean, nobody knows what's going into your head the moments before you die. Nobody knows what's going on in your brain the 20 seconds after you die. So, I mean, there's plenty of opportunity to be saved.
But you don't know that. That's speculation.
What do you mean I don't know that? When you still have consciousness for 20 seconds after you're dead, what if there's signs in there? What if you just...
Wait, how do you know that?
I mean, it's proven that your brain is active for, like, I want to say 10 minutes after you're dead? After your heart starts pumping?
Okay, I've never heard that. That's,
I think it's like 7
look into
minutes.
that.
You can look it up now if you want, but I believe it's 7 or 10 minutes or something like that. But the brain is still active. And that's the conscious part of the brain.
I'll research that,
But, I mean, up until the last moment, what if you get sick? There's different circumstances.
and what if I don't?
You chose not to believe your whole life. That was a choice.
I don't think we choose our beliefs.
I mean, you do and you don't, but I mean, there's still choices within that. Because, I mean,
I
if
don't
you...
know. Can you...
Within your whole life is essentially long, but I mean...
In the grand scheme of things, it's nothing.
Yeah. But you were happy with your beliefs during life, and they ended with a different consequence. You still lived a good life without believing, so I mean, if you end up there, you lived your life the way you wanted to. Nobody made you believe or not believe, so if that's what's down there...
Okay, but the only difference between you guys going to heaven and me going to hell is one belief.
And that's a big belief that you don't believe that.
Is it?
Yes. It's a big one. That is a big one.
I don't see it being that big of a belief, though. I mean, you guys are going to be watching me burn because it's just all the evidence didn't add up to me. And that was your God
So because
not showing himself. So the God that doesn't show himself.
So because we have faith that you didn't, we should suffer.
No. I said before, I think you guys, if there's a heaven, you guys will be going. But I'm saying your God chooses to make people suffer just for not believing.
So
When murderers and molesters and everything else
if we're going
can be
with
saved.
we're going with that it's real, and you chose not to believe in a perfectness and
Okay, but I didn't choose.
no, I'm just saying that right now it's real, and you don't see it being tangible, it being real, but we don't know what's real, but we're saying it is, and it's all perfect, and it's giving you rules that will make you a good person. Honor thy mother, honor thy father, be a good person, and you still choose not to believe in it, and you still don't follow the 10 commandments that are good commandments that will lead a good life.
That were there before the Bible.
But I mean, it's in the Bible, so the Bible's real.
Like I said before, if we dig up New York a million years from now, we won't find Spider-Man.
I'm not talking about Spider-Man.
I'm saying there's stuff in the Bible that'll make it real.
But for those who believe it is,
Is a belief. Is one thought.
and you not believing is a
It's
belief.
one thought.
Yeah. So it doesn't tarnish what we have.
I'm not saying it does. I'm just saying your God chooses to torture people for him not showing himself.
If someone is almighty and powerful,
I believe that
Oh, we will go.
ones that live a good life, they have a last chance when they die. That's my personal belief. That
but he
when
wants
they die,
he wants where it says that because he told me that was a speculation.
I'm saying that when you die, that you have a last chance to go to heaven. Lord knows, who knows what that last chance will be.
But why have a last chance?
It's to save the people that deserve saving.
The ones that didn't
And the
believe
people
on
that don't believe just automatically don't deserve saving?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the ones that don't believe here on earth, when they die, they have a last chance to go to heaven.
And that's Lord's what you that's
Who knows?
that's speculation. We don't know that.
We don't know.
But okay, so there's
Talking
judgment.
about-
There's a judgment day, right? It says in there, right? Judgment.
Okay, let's go with that.
There's a judgment day. You answer to what you've done. So if he's standing right there in front of you and you still don't believe it,
Then, okay, let's go with that. If he's after death, if he's there, standing there, he would have to explain all of this.
just for you to get okay. So he's there.
If-
It's
if-
obviously real.
If that God is the God of the Bible, I welcome hell.
oh, you would suffer eternity just because you didn't believe what he said.
If that God that says it's okay to kill babies and keep slaves and all that, if that's the God that's ruling up there, yes.
I believe when an eternity of suffering is at your choice, that would not be the option I would show you. But I mean, that's just me. The way we think right now, our brains are hardwired not to hurt ourselves, and that would be something that would hurt us. So I mean, I don't know.
But I couldn't worship that God. There would have to be. I don't see him justifying anything that's in there.
But once this life is over, and he's in front of you, he has a better thinking of what we have, and if he's able to explain it, you'll follow. You don't know what was happening. You don't know his mindset. You don't know what we didn't think of.
Yeah,
So when
I can't see any justification for killing a baby.
I mean, you won't until you're there. When you stand in front of you and you have to answer for what you do.
I'm still with that.
I just think some stuff's not worth paradise.
Eternity's a long time. Millions upon millions of years.
I'd say billions or
Well,
trillions or
It's
whatever.
forever. That's the whole thing. That's it. It's infinity and top infinity and just. I mean, we don't even know.
Well, it's getting late,
I got
and
work tomorrow.
we all got work tomorrow. So, all right, YouTube. If you like brothers having conversation, seeing us still not hating each other at the end of the conversation, like and subscribe. But until next time, see you later.